Hey, this is Big Op coming at you. I got a real big hot issue, a hot topic for you. I was having a conversation with one of my buddies, a debate. We got into a debate. I'm from the so-called black race, and he's from the so-called white race, and we was having a debate. And he called me, talking to me about the situation that's evolving Barack Obama was dealing with the gun laws that's going on right now and taking away his rights to use but so many bullets, and it's a lot of just being passed and being pushed by the White House. And as we engaged in a conversation, we got to a point where we just started talking about weapons and what his belief was with the Second Amendment and what my belief was, and from that situation, I explained to him that I was against guns because people are using guns to kill, to intimidate, and to do things that's unjust. So if it's on an equal playing field, I would say okay, everybody should be allowed to have guns, and just basically talking to him about that situation. So at that time, he was saying, well, he don't believe everybody should be allowed to have guns. He said, if a person do something or have a felony or whatever, they lose their rights to have a gun. You know what I'm saying? And I was talking to him, and I said, well, why I say it's fair is everybody, as a so-called African American, you know, 75% of the urban communities, they're not even allowed to have guns. And his response to that was, oh, well, it's not my fault that, the guys are out there, you know, sticking people up, robbing old ladies, robbing cars, and robbing stores and stuff of this nature. And right then, that was a very racist comment. But, I didn't engage in any type of comment like that, just aware of what he just said and his lack of understanding the system and how the system works. The majority of the so-called black people don't that's not allowed to have guns that have anything to do with a gun offense. It have anything to do with people robbing and sticking people up with guns. What it has was a colorful court system that was set up and that is set up where you get felonies. It could be car accident. It could be uh, open up bank accounts like a lot of people mess they stuff like that. Open up accounts and getting overdrawn and exchange it into felonies and felonies for just basic fights that have nothing to do with guns. Felonies for driving too many times with no license. I mean, these are minor offenses, but they turn into felonies. And once you have a felony, you're not allowed to carry a gun anymore. So that right there alone is unfair and unjust. And for him to insinuate that 75% of the black people, so-called black people, African Americans, are not allowed to have guns is because they committed some heinous act with a gun. So I just assure him that he was accurately wrong on those thoughts. Now, this was a guy that was potentially my buddy or being my buddy. We talked a lot. He was very anxious to do things for me, very anxious to help me and everything. And I can kind of feel like the way this conversation was going, the guy was getting, irrational. He was getting a little bit upset. And and I'm sitting to myself and I'm realizing like, well, wow, why is he so upset? At first I was thinking the fact that maybe he's so upset because he's upset that uh I don't stand with him because it was one of the things that he mentioned. He said, "Hey, well, if Obama comes with that martial law, and stuff like that and try to tell us to give up our guns, we're not giving up our arms. And black people want to stand with us. I say, no, nobody. No, they're not. I say, because you're dealing with a situation where, you know what I'm saying? We're, like I said before, we're not even allowed to have guns. 75% of us in the urban communities or the lower inner city communities. And why would we go fight in a war or get in the war, we're involving ourselves with something that has nothing at all to do with us? So I immediately wanted to get this out of there so so-called African Americans, the nation, will recognize and understand these things. That's what's going on today in America. You know, and I think his upsetness was that letting him know that no, I don't stand with that. You know, I don't believe it's fair for anybody to have any guns. So martial law, yeah, it would be okay for me. You know, because you take away the guns. You know, that'll help stop a lot of things. And like this thing I have running now that you guys are just getting clips out of, it was scenes from the New Orleans. What happened there? You know what they call themselves vigilantes did. You know, I'm not going to play that scenes really too much right now, but how people who was legally allowed to have guns, and as the water was raising, as so-called African Americans tried to get to drier and safer places, they start shooting them and killing them. And you could do your own research. Like I said, I'm not going to pull it up, but they have on YouTube the white guys saying that they were shooting them and telling them, go back where you come from. And all they was doing was trying to cross. There was no looting. And the looting that they are portraying on TV as looting was not your real looting. It was just like everybody else, white, black, or any other nationality that was there at that time, or from whatever nation. They was going and trying to find ways to survive. There was no resources. They was looking for stuff in stores that they can put their kids on, that they can float, that they can move their kids. You have people starving, and then you have people saying that they're looting. That's just ridiculous, and it's foolish for anybody to say anybody was looting when it was not the right resources being brought into um, Katrina, when Katrina storm hit. So engage more into the conversation of what I had with him. I was just saying like how down there when they got the word and they just start shooting and killing any black person they see. Go run. Now my whole thing is this: I'm not pointing a finger. I'm not saying anything about any white people because white people came there and they did help. But what I'm saying is, if you took away those guns, if those guns wasn't there, those lives would still be here today. The shooting wasn't there. So you see, when you take away order in America, you see what happens. People pick up the guns, they start shooting who they want to shoot, and doing what they want to do, and that's just a glimpse. That's just a glimpse of what can happen all over America if we don't come together in America and get rid of these guns. We got to come together and get rid of these guns. I'm going to start a campaign to get rid of guns. That's going to be the new thing. Get rid of the guns. They have to go.